you just sometimes this happens, and we just and we obviously made some poor choices at the position in the last couple of years, and the Packers are trying to fix it. So yeah, we'll see, but something's got to give when you're paying the best quarterback in the league and the best left tackle and the best cornerback. You can't pay the best long snapper.
Well, our long snapper wasn't the first person that we cut or released from our team. The week before, LaFleur personally cut another special teams member. I don't know if you saw this, but he cut and sold the Green Bay Packers special teams jugs machine. Did you hear his press conference about that?
I did. I had heard that the jugs machine wasn't performing well in practice.
It was not
to the extent of it.
It was not performing well, and the ball was acting unusual in the air, and it made our return guys like Dobbs or Dubs. Did we decide?
It's Dobbs.
I'm
almost positive.
I think you're right. Dobbs and Amari Cooper. It made them look even worse.
Amari
on
Cooper?
return.
When did he join
Amari
the team?
Cooper, yeah. Sorry, Amari Rodgers. It made them look even worse on the team because it was not rotating end over end in any fashionable, any usual fashion. So he was cut first, and then it looks like the long snapper is second. But hopefully those are our last cuts, and after that, the Bisaccia has got this special teams unit humming again.
Well, it sounds like we need a punter who can kick unusual punts. I think that's where the special teams needs to focus their attention.
Okay. Last thing on the special teams, I was trying to move on from it, but I am excited about this. I mean, hopefully we can figure out the long snapper, but there was a story going where I think Amari was calling for a fair catch on a punt, and Bisaccia got on him. Like, this is practice, man. Like, you catch this and go up the field. I think there is some like, hey, fair catching, training, like saying, hey, when to do this, when not to. But the first week of special teams, in particular, he's like, dude, let's practice, let's get this, let's catch this, and like break a freaking tackle. And I just thought it was cool to see him like on, really on his guys, saying like, let's just not screw it up, if you will, not to use a double negative there, but let's actually contribute to the team, and like, let's advance the ball, and let's see what we can do. And I thought that was a pretty cool sight from him, and I think that's some well-needed leadership on that team.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and obviously in a game, I think more times than not, we're going to want a fair catch. But yeah, I mean, get the reps in practice. That's when you can screw up, and that's when you can kind of start to gain your confidence. If you catch a ball and go upfield and make a guy miss, great. But yeah, I don't know why you would fair catch a ball during punt return practice. But anyway,
well, let's transition. Let's transition to talk a little bit about this Friday. And let's look backwards a little bit while we talk. We also look forward. This Friday, we're playing exactly where we ended the year this last year. We're playing San Francisco, and our starting quarterback will be our guy Jordan Love. Jordan Love played a lot, obviously, in Family Night, and there's a few headlines I think that you wanted to bring up on Jordan Love. Was it specific to Family Night, or was it just kind of in general how Jordan Love was looking so far in training camp?
Yeah, I think it specifically Family Night, and then I think this last Monday practice or Friday, Saturday practice, I forget. But basically, regarding his performance so far, Matt LaFleur said he's in a much more in rhythm. He's more decisive. He's making better decisions. His footwork is getting better, and he's not getting stuck at the top of his drop. He looks more fluid, and it's translating into the way he's playing the position. He's getting more accurate. He's making the right plays, the right decisions, and he's showing a lot of growth, which is great to hear. We've all been wondering how the Jordan Love experiment's going to end. I think we're going to get a taste of it this offseason. Hopefully he can stay healthy for all 3 games. He missed one last year in the preseason, which was unfortunate. But I'm confident. I'm confident that we're going to see some of that growth, and we're going to see some of that some of that better decision making, those tighter throws, more command of the offense. I think we've seen in the past just a lack of decisiveness. He kind of maybe gets through his reads and then runs, or doesn't get the ball off, or throws it off the top of a defensive tackle's head or something like that. I don't know what the future holds for him, but I am very excited, more excited to watch a backup quarterback play than I have been in probably ever.
Yeah, and this week will be interesting for both teams. Jordan Love is on his last year of his kind of guaranteed rookie contract. So for him, it's a huge 3-4 preseason games because he needs to prove himself to the Packers, or honestly, other teams that might A, pick him up, or B, want to trade for him. I think if Aaron Rodgers is a member of the Green Bay Packers 12 months from now, I don't think Jordan Love would be. I just don't see the Packers picking up a fifth-year option on a guy that literally hasn't played, any real meaningful snaps except for the one against Kansas City last year. So for us, it's very interesting. To your point, it's exciting to see a backup quarterback. On the other hand, the 49ers will be starting it. They told us that they'll be starting Trey Lance, which is their starting quarterback. The 49ers, that is, next year. And I don't think you roll out Trey Lance, the future of your franchise, without more starters, right? Like, you wouldn't hang him out to dry like with a second or third string offensive line, receivers, or whatever. So I think we might see some starters on the San Francisco side. Do you think that means that we might see some starters on the defensive side that we may not have, given that A, Trey Lance is starting, and B, LaFleur and Shanahan kind of always have this give and take with each other. I don't think they want to lose to each other, even if it is preseason.
That's a good question. I have no idea. I have to think the Packers are going to stick to their plan. I know they probably don't want, number 2s and 3s going against the starting offensive line for the 49ers, but who knows? I mean, maybe a series or, a few plays, but I don't anticipate seeing a lot of, bona fide A1 starters performing in this game at all.
I don't think you see Kenny Clark out there. I think maybe Rashawn Gary for like a series just so he can go hit somebody, because he, besides Romeo, has been the talk of the town this training camp. But I kind of wonder if you see our corners, like a Rasul Douglas, a Jair, a Stokes, guys who were kind of banged up a little bit last year, and I guess Jair wasn't, but guys who maybe could use a couple of reps. Do you think that's not worth the risk? Do you think that's too much, or would you just not? What's your opinion on preseason? You just say, hey, no, let's not start anybody. Don't risk it. And if so, double question here: how do we prevent, if we're not going to play these guys? How do we prevent what happened last year with Week 1 against the Saints?
A lot to unpack there. I think
it's linear. There's no, it's a yes, no question,
I think, well, first of all, wasn't Jair Alexander hurt for a lot of last season? And didn't get back till the end of the season, if I'm remembering correctly.
Jair?
Yeah, so he might be I mean, I've watched some highlights of him in practice so far during training camp. He looks really good. Nobody's getting open on him. They actually had him go up against Romeo Doubs a couple days ago in one-on-ones, and I think Doubs was a little frustrated because he just couldn't shake him. He looks good. I don't think he's going to play at all, to your point. I don't know what the point is at this juncture, like having guys like Jair Alexander or Aaron Rodgers or Preston Smith or Rashawn Gary play in preseason. I think last year that Week 1 game against the Saints was a fluke. I think there are still a lot of guys on this team that were there for that and are not going to let that happen again. And it's on the road against the Vikings.
Yep.
So when not to lay an egg, pretty much. So,
well, I mean, not to just go ask the question again, but like, You're the coach, Marcus. You're the coach of the Green Bay Packers. You saw our start last year. Are you going to chalk that up to a fluke and just hope it doesn't happen again? Are you going to do something different to get us ready for week one? Because week one loss against the Saints, not a big deal. It ended up being a fluke because we went, 13-3 after that. Four total losses, 13-3 after that.
Oh, after that. You're right.
So
I can do math.
Yeah. So knowing that it's a divisional game, and I have a whole new opinion on our overall record and our schedule, and we'll talk about that in another podcast. But regardless of that, that's a huge game that we're playing week one, right? Like, what do we need to do now differently, or do we not need to do anything differently to make sure? Like, are you just going to say that's a fluke? It's not going to happen again. Do everything exactly the same. Let's protect our guys, no injuries, or are you going to change something a little bit this preseason?
I think you make some changes. I think you look at how you prepared for that game, and you probably make some adjustments. I mean, again, a lot of the guys on this team were on that team, and I think acknowledging that in the week leading up to that game, like, hey, you remember last year? Let's not be overconfident. Let's go about our business, the right way. Let's not go through the motions and think we're just going to walk all over teams, because this team is coming off. Go ahead.
The week before you would change something, but the 4 preseason games leading up to it, that's what you would keep the same.
I mean, I guess the 3 weeks before the week leading up to the first week of the season, you're still trying to solidify your roster, and I think you're focusing on the development of the younger guys and things like that. I mean, I think you just emphasize to the starters, like, don't take anything for granted. Yeah, you're going to be starting day one, but remember last year. Remember what happened last year. This is another NFL team we're going up against. Okay, this isn't practice. This isn't preseason. You're not going against 2s or 3s. I mean, these are going to be bona fide NFL starters. So let's do things the right way and just make sure that you're preparing the way you need to, I guess.
Yeah, you sound like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers said that in a news or in his sound bit, I think a week ago, that practice is a lot more valuable than preseason, and preseason tends to be a little vanilla, so he sees it kind of as a 2s and 3s game. I'm hoping you're right. I'm hoping it's a fluke. I'm hoping it's something that they can rest all their starters, don't risk any injuries, and I'm hoping they can come out with that intensity, because not only is it a divisional game against the Vikings, the toughest NFC North team that we have, but it's a road game too. They're going to be here in the cities with us, and it's a game that I kind of am bummed that we're starting on. I don't like divisional games week 1 or 2, but we have exactly that, divisional games week 1 and 2. So.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm happy just because I know the game's going to be on TV here, so I don't have to worry about scrambling to find some way to watch it. But, anything else you want to discuss? And we kind of touched on, I think, most of the things. I think the only other thing I wanted to emphasize was the defense, again, seems like, aside from Romeo Doubs, the defense as a whole seems to be the star of preseason so far. The offense, by all accounts, are having a tough time winning in those 11-on-11 battles, and I'm just wondering how good this defense can be. I think our offense is going to take a slight step backward. I think we're still going to be, above average, probably a top 12 defense, but if this defense can be top 3, top 4, I don't think we need to have an MVP season necessarily from Aaron Rodgers, but what do you think? Am I reading too much into this? Is the defense overhyped?
I hope you're right. I don't know. It's hard for me to read about how great our defense is and then also read how much our offensive line is struggling. Like, which one's right? Are they both right? Is one making the other one look better? Is our offensive line pretty damn good and our defense is that amazing? Right? Like, I think overall we got to feel good about where we are defensively, right? We got a lot of starters back. Knock on wood, we're healthy. We had, I think, a tweak of a hamstring with Darnell Savage this last week. But beyond that, there's no new